Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to the February 10th, 2021 Blockchain Lab hosted by the Blockchain Center. It's one of our mini blockchain workshops. We have some in collaboration with the Google Student Developers Club, Epsilon Pi Epsilon, and the Blockchain Center. Today, this one's going to be talking about the first part of the Blockchain Solidarity Lab. And if it piques your interest, we have another second part on February 17th. And basically, it's just an intro in blockchain, going to be hosted by Eric, and he's going to teach you a lot of extremely interesting things. And I hope you stick around, and I hope we pique your interest. Just I had to say. I guess I should give you a share now.
Right. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
All right. So, are you sharing my my camera?
Yes.
All right. So, I just wanted to give you a quick introduction of myself. My name is Eric Manganaro. I've been working with the Blockchain Center for like the last I think it's upward to a year now. I think we're coming up on a year, and it's been a really interesting ride. I think that we've had at least 200 discrete students come through the blockchain center since then that has like gone through some sort of um, training when it comes to blockchain and whatnot. Just like so I can get a feel of the room, like who else is a blockchain engineer or wants to be?
I want to learn.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah. Just say your name out loud so I can.
My name is Jimmy. Or
Oh,
actually,
Jimmy. Hey, what's
yeah,
up?
what's up? I'm here, man.
Great. Yeah. Okay. Cool. All right. Well, this makes it a little easier. I'm full of friends. There's Jimmy. What's up?
Hey.
So, I guess maybe we can just while I'm setting my stuff up, what do you think like it means to be, I guess, like a blockchain engineer? I mean, we're focusing on Solidity today, but let's just get a general vibe of what that means, and then we can just move forward quickly. Like Jimmy, there's another guy named Kevin. We got Bebop, Tom, Zach.
Okay, so I mean, for me, it's just like I'm pretty new to this, right? So, but I
Sure.
feel the technology that you should learn if you want to stay ahead, like just you want to be where technology is going, right?
Okay.
So, I mean, that's what piqued my interest. And then meeting you guys, I mean, it just makes me want to learn even more.
Tight. I hope that's the vibe we give off because that's literally all what we do all day, and it's been really cool. So, I think I try to like bring it upon the idea that we're trying to just like in the 80s, and I try to draw this parallel a lot. In the 80s, actually, a lot of our machine learning algorithms were developed in the 80s, but we're at a bottleneck when it came to like storage bandwidth. I think that when we talk about Google, we kind of like take it for granted that there are, millions upon millions of images out there that can be fed into a neural network. The neural network, as LeCun described it, has been around since the late 80s. So, uh, yeah, Jimmy did come to the hackathon in Miami. Yeah. So, it was what I'm trying to parallel is that really we also coming into the same age for distributed computing. And that's, I guess, like, it's a good thing or a bad thing. We're talking about dApps and, let's see. I want to learn about what blockchain is and how it works while we're avoiding scams and false information. Great. Yeah, that's kind of like what got me into it and into the blockchain centers because I have been doing videos on the GitHub repositories of projects that I thought were really interesting. Um, so you can see if something's a scam, or you can see something very quickly from far away if you just look under the hood. And hopefully, I have the ability to at least try to you know um, decipher that, because really it can be kind of overwhelming at first with the different types of knowledge, but distributed computers not new, and we can get to it. So just so like when we come down to when we now we're thinking about Ethereum, what is everyone's knowledge about Ethereum? We'll just start from the very beginning, and then I'll bring you up to like the bleeding edge, I guess.
Well, I know about the Ethereum Classic and Ethereum split.
Okay. Let's go a little bit before that. One of the best ways to know someone is scamming you is you look under their portfolio on GitHub. Yes. Yeah, so that's what we're trying to say. EVM is a machine that runs smart contract code. Okay, correct. So, yeah, so just to look a little bit of when I saw Ethereum being developed, it was basically answering a question, because everyone was like, Bitcoin is awesome. What else can we use it for? We're like, okay, I want to use it for DNS. I want to use it for file storage. And like Bitcoin runs on like a pretty heavy network. So being able to have a chain for every little use case would be kind of exaggerated, and kind of hard, because not only do you have to incentivize people to maintain those nodes, um, it's contrary to how we think about Bitcoin is also very expensive. So what we're trying to think about is, and the analogy that I've heard is, when you buy Photoshop, you don't buy a Photoshop computer and like stick it on your computer. That doesn't make sense. You download software and it changes the inside of the computer, and now you have Photoshop. So Ethereum is to that analogy to Bitcoin, because now instead of creating an entire expensive network to run your token, Ethereum is a token creator, a meta token, as it were, where we use Ether to spend as gas for our transactions, because we want to incentivize everyone in the network to maintain our transaction. We pay them. So that's really at the essence why Ethereum was created, and why you see so many coins created off of this. And the language that was created out of that was Solidity. There are other ones like Viper. There are also some EVM compatible Rust libraries, but today we're going to be focusing on. I have a question: is ETH's value based on how many people use? I think ETH's value is based on, much like everything else, adoption and uses. So since it is the meta coin, and you can create many coins off of that, that by itself is very useful. So even if Ethereum does a lot of those features, so just like a piece of software, if you were to buy one license of Adobe Photoshop, it would probably be like $600 or something. So you could say that that token or that use of Adobe Photoshop is worth around $600. I don't even know how much it costs. But so yeah, value of software is subjective, but it also comes down to the fact that because it can create so many tokens, then we can that could explain why ETH's market cap is increasing faster than Bitcoin's and Ethereum. Yes, because for sure. Because in terms of like adoption, it's less of like a retail thing, but it's like a more of like, oh, people like us who would like to create a new coin. Hopefully, we can start getting everybody to that place. And let's see if I can still hear myself when I switch over. Can you see my screen still?
Yeah.
Nice. Wait, someone's calling me. 1 second. Hello? Oh, okay. Yeah. Hey, what's going on? 1 second. Hey, are you good? Yeah. Hey, one moment, please. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, not you. How are you? All right, I'm back. I'm very sorry, but I had to take care of that. It was very important. So I was reading this cool article by Raul Sitharam. He was talking about Solidity, Ethers, Waffle, TypeScript. Question: Does anybody has anyone used TypeScript before? Question.
Yes.
Yeah. So anyone else?
Yeah, no, I haven't used it, but I've used JavaScript.
Okay, so it's not that super different. It's just like it says, it's now TypeScript. I've used Solidity and JavaScript. Great. So it's less about using it's JavaScript, and then when you have like your favorite IDE, which I'm going to be using like VS Code here in a second, you want to be able to really understand what's going on with your smart contracts, and we're going to explore, I guess, fairly quickly what it is to use. I guess one of the I guess like the stack that everyone's using. So it's what I'm doing is I'm going to be going over something called type chain. So we'll say updated to a type chain builder. Hard hat is, and let me just define my terms. So there's like this. I'm sure everyone who's done some of Solidity development that you've used Truffle. So this is another development environment called Hard Hat that will help us add some features that are pretty important to the cause. So we'll see Hardplat, replacement for Trussell, says it bills itself as a task runner for the Ethereum smart contract developers. In practice, this means that the tool will help you bootstrap your Solidity project and give you a team with all the scaffolding needed, which is kind of what we are using. Killer features, the hard fat touts are stack traces when your contracts revert and console log for debugging. See, this seems like something you'd expect out of a language, but what we'll find is that, Solidity is a very early in its development. So there are even libraries that you would think that would be there aren't. One time I was making a smart contract where I needed to use some lesser used trigonometric functions, and I had to actually create them because, even string functions inside of Solidity are pretty lackluster. So we'll just say Ethers, replacement for Web3.js. We're talking about Ethers.js, another JavaScript library for interacting with the Ethereum blockchain. Ethers is pretty tight. I've been able to have less buggy interactions with it. I've had a pretty good success. I want everyone to see if I can post this in chat so y'all can follow along. But there's lots of really good links on here, and it's made my talk a lot easier. And then, so Ethereum Waffle, this one is where I spend most of my time. And when I'm writing, let's see, should we download and install these? 100%. I'll just show you how to do that, and I'll do some live coding, and we'll get into it. But I just wanted to clear, talk about what this new stack is, why I think it's interesting, and that should answer your question, Bebop.
Quick question. All this stack is to create blockchain or to work with blockchain?
Okay, so what I'm going over, and that's why I kind of wanted to get to define my terms. To create a blockchain is not what we're trying to do here. We're trying to create tokens on the Ethereum blockchain, because what Ethereum is the ability to use its network for our own token. So we don't have to create a whole new blockchain for us to create a new token that may have different tokenometric qualities. Does that make sense to
Thank
you?
you. It makes sense now.
Okay,
I have
cool.
a question.
Yeah, answer.
I've been trying to install Truffle on my iMac, and the problem is though, every time I'm trying to install these different packages, it's not letting me because it's saying that these packages need funding. When it says funding, does it mean USD cash or what?
No, it needs funding, meaning if you're working, and that's something that I'll address, is that funding means if you're using something like Ganache or some sort, you have to have funds in it.
That makes sense.
You
So
know, even if it's testnet.
yeah, because I have Ganache. I have Ganache. So
Yeah.
how I have to use Ganache to install Truffle?
No, Ganache is its own thing, but Ganache should actually give you 10 accounts and like 100
Yeah, it
Ethereum in
does.
each.
It does. It does.
Okay. So then I think that you may need to point it at the provider. Maybe it's not seeing it for some reason. I'm not sure.
Oh, okay, okay. So every time it asks for like provider, I just type in one of the addresses for the accounts that it gives me, and I fund the
Yes.
package.
Yes. Now so it could, there are many other Ethereum compatible chains out there. And that's something that I wanted to talk about, is that I did a video, not just on what we're talking about, but also on the Binance Smart Chain. Many people are adopting this framework because we'll just say provider, because actually, if it's not Ethereum, it could be Tron, it could be Binance Smart Chain, it could be IOHK's Cardano. Many of these are very are accepting of Ethereum now, well, like at least of the Solidity and how it can create smart contracts from the EVM. It has EVM compatible, I guess. It's just EVM compatible. So when we say provider, it's just where is that coming from? And that's something I wanted to talk about, is that we either run a whole Geth node on our server, or we run something like Ganache, where it is a fake Ethereum. It's much smaller, much faster. And that is basically the provider. And that can be, and that's why we have Infura as well. If anyone has heard of that, anyone here of
Yeah, yeah.
Infura?
I was just learning about that in whatchamacallit, in a boot camp that I'm taking on the side, just learning about Infura. Can you explain what it is just to make sure? Because I was reading about it when trying to build a blockchain-based e-commerce website.
Sure. Now, that's the idea behind this, is that you would have if you look at Infura, you want to be able to have when you're developing, you want to have the actual Ethereum node running on your computer. But for a lot of people, having a terabyte worth of storage and like a pretty beefy computer is not what we develop on. And what Consensus did is that they created a website where you can connect your provider to a cluster that they manage. You can get started for free, and their accounts are always free. It's just slow. If you had an Ethereum node running right next to where the program that you were compiling, then you would have that. And that's kind of like what you have to think about, because really all these things do are just like, whether we're making a JavaScript program or a Python program, there's just this Ethereum node that exposes this port 8545 and just runs as a service in your computer. But that's the powerful nature of what we're trying to do here, is that we're trying to build apps that have trusted information coming in. The Ethereum node has information that is paid for and is distributed to every computer that is running and repeating that node. So it is, in essence, a trusted information, whether or not it was paid for on purpose or not. Like, that is the information that is there. So it's kind of like not opposite, but a bit different from how we try to create back-end computer programs, where we just have maybe, say, an HTTP RESTful client that will be responding to a query, and then there's a whole bunch of security concerns, and then blah blah blah. You start getting into infosec, blah blah. And that's kind of what makes these kinds of applications really cool, is that now I can have a Python program that can respond to stimulus like something coming off of Infura or my Ethereum node, and I can trust that that traffic is coming from the party that, one, I know it's coming from because the sender, sends money. Two, I'm not trying to think about that. So let's try to go back over to here. So yeah, just to answer your question, we're trying to, let me see, just for those who are wondering what he's talking about, ganache, this is chocolate.
Hey, I got a question. What's the drizzle framework used for too? Because I was trying to install the whole ganache fruit. I was trying to install truffle and drizzle.
Drizzle is a React framework that helps you connect to that provider.
I see.
And then let me just bring it up for everybody.
So when you say React framework, do you mean React.js?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So it's really good for designing like a user interface for
Well,
somebody to interact with.
Yeah.
Huh?
Drizzle is that. Yeah, Drizzle. Let's go to Drizzle. Yeah. So what Drizzle is, I guess, is for because if you're trying to query the blockchain, what you're trying to do is, instead of connecting to like an HTTP server and just go get the information, we have to go to an Ethereum blockchain to get the information.
Mm-hmm.
So whether or not you're running it locally or you're subscribing to Infura or Etherscan, some exterior source, you want to be able to fetch that data and have it available to what we know as your state of the app. So
basically, it's a framework that gives you access to a digital library that you can use to query with the blockchain, in essence, right?
Yes, but Drizzle does a lot more and goes further and implements the state of the app, and we could know that as for us managed by Redux, and it returns those thunks quickly, so you can have fresh information through your state of the app.
That's pretty
We're
cool.
talking about, yeah, and that Drizzle I feel is a bit deprecated. I'm not. It's been like 2 years, but it seems like it's been updated fairly recently in February.
That's fair enough. Yeah. Oh, so basically, just to be clear, I can use one of my Ganache accounts to fund these packages that I want to install on my Mac, because I can't.
Yes.
Because I've been trying. Because here's the thing, right? I've been using remix.ether. It's basically an IDE that you use. I've been using that to work on some smaller projects, but the most frustrating thing is I can't work on anything big until I install these dev tools.
Yes. Now that's kind of what I was talking about, because honestly, I've worked with these very tools right here, Truffle, Ganache, and Drizzle, and I hate them.
Really?
I don't like using web-based, and I don't web-based IDEs like Remix, and I don't really like
I don't blame you.
Ganache.
I don't blame you.
Yeah, but Ganache relies on something called Ethereum JS, which is a part of what we're going to talk about with
That's great.
With
Hey, quick question. Why don't you like using those platforms? Real quick.
they're just buggy. I mean, once you start getting into like a programmer habit of testing these things, you'll find that why I'm talking about why I like this article is because it's addressing those things. So he's like, hey, there's JS. I used Web3.js for a long time using Solidity, and then I tried Internet, and I was blown away how easy it was to set up.
Okay. Right.
It does the same thing, literally.
Okay.
But what I'll show you is that we'll just code along, and you'll see that through this very simple tutorial, we'll just be able to just get it to a place where it's useful.
Right. Okay.
With Web3, there's it's like an infinite configuration, and sometimes it's buggy. And I'm not saying don't ever try it or truffle. This is just my talk.
Right, because this is the first time I'm seeing all these programs that you're showing. So I'm kind of like, because I was going on YouTube and watching different tutorials on what to use, different resources, and I saw that Ganache and Drizzle, and so you're the first developer I've heard say that he doesn't like using it. So I was just wondering why why not?
Yeah, it's like the day-to-day type deal too. So like if you're in it from the day-to-day, it's like, man, the developer experience of this sucks.
Okay.
You know?
Hey, I got a question.
Answer.
So, what do you think of DAP University? Basically, it was a YouTube channel. This guy who's been a blockchain developer for a really, really long time. I bought his boot camp. It seems pretty legit. I'm using it. I'm learning a lot. What do you think of it?
I think it's good information. I think his ring light is directly over his iris most of the video. It's like very like weird to look at him, but it's well produced.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I wish I had more time to dedicate to creating a curriculum, and I think it takes a lot of even when I had like a lot of, it's just like once you become an Ethereum developer, there's just like so much to do now because there's so many projects that need you that I can't do.
That's a
anything
good
else.
thing. That's a good thing. And you know what? It's like if you have a little bit of time to just market yourself to make one video a day, that I think it's worth it.
I think it is important, even if you weren't doing Ethereum, if you were just being a React developer or a
Yeah.
Python developer, because what I've had no problems going through interviews because you're like, okay, I want to see your resume, blah blah. I'm like, okay, you can watch hours of me coding.
That's funny. That's funny. That's funny.
Yeah, and then it's like, do you want me to work for you? You can see if you don't like my skill or you don't think.
Wait, you don't have a portfolio?
I have a GitHub.
Oh, okay. That's cool. That's
Yeah.
cool. I'm just really want to be like just develop smart contracts to be an Ethereum dev, just so that I can move out of my parents' house faster.
Honestly, that's the best thing you could probably do.
I feel you 100%.
Yeah, just add yourself to our Discord. We can help you on that process.
Please add me to the. Please, like, just
Jimmy,
like,
add him to the Discord.
Yeah, I got him.
What?
Please do. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Oh,
because
thank you.
no, we have a running Discord right now. Jimmy's in it. Jimmy, I just met Jimmy.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were there in Miami because I've been in the snow for so long. You know,
Please drop that Discord.
I literally brought my whole PC and I smashed my tempered glass after the Airbnb driver dropped my whole tower 4 feet.
Seriously, that's crazy.
It was cringe,
That
but
is
it still works.
insane.
It still works.
It still works.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was pretty bad.
yeah, it was cringe.
So you're gonna email me the Discord link? How's it
Just
gonna work?
hey,
Can
how
you
about
just post
this?
it in chat?
Yeah. I'll
Thank you so much.
Yeah, we're trying to get devs in. If you want to learn, we'll do it.
I want
every
to
day.
learn. Like I'm getting everything I can because here's the thing: at my college, they don't let you take blockchain courses until you're a junior. And I'm like, well, I don't want to wait to learn how to do
Are you
this. I want to get ahead of the
you a
game.
sophomore or are you a freshman?
I'm a freshman.
Okay, yeah. If you start now, you can like quit college by soon.
I've been doing. I've been.
I don't
well,
want-
I've learned- I've been teaching myself for a month and a half now.
Yeah, I'm not a proponent of like everyone should drop out, but I am a dropout.
You're smart.
I just I'm just cheap. I'm not a doctor. I'm a computer programmer. Like I definitely think people.
I just
People are gonna handle my internal organs. Please go to school. But I'm definitely just to like really iterate on what we're trying to do here.
Wait a minute. Is this blockchain center devs?
Yes, this is.
Oh, I've been on there. I think this is it. Yeah.
Blockchain
I
Center
have-
Devs 2021.
Hold on.
Yeah. I just
Oh
sent
wait. Resolving invite. Okay.
No, Blockchain
Open.
Center. You've probably been inside that one.
A quick question.
Well,
Going
Oh
from
wait. Now I'm in. Thanks.
Hey, Easy Block.
perfect.
M Baptist Bigfoot. Okay.
Yep, that's me.
Toy.
Yep, that's me. I just joined.
Cool. Daniel, can you handle them? Just because I think you have to sign an NDA as you come in, but that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was kind of like, oh, we gotta have them sign the NDA before they go in, but
I know, but who cares?
okay,
Interviewed him.
okay.
Interviewed live.
All right, I'm gonna send you guys a link, and it will walk you through the process.
Send the link, man. I just sent the link.
Yeah. So
Yeah, I know about
okay.
another
So-
link.
So learning Solidity by itself is probably not the thing you should do. I'm not, like, don't learn it in a vacuum. Basically, it's not really conducive to getting hired, because really what we want to do is that 98% of blockchain development is just development. You should take your computer sciences. If you don't, I definitely recommend. Got a lot out of linear algebra when I took it. You'll find that that has many uses as we move into modern database management, where we talk about vectors moving through a network topology rather than like straight SQL. You'll find it in machine learning through work functions. It's something that's fairly important, but take those classes. So if everyone has this, then I'll just switch over. Let me see. Nice.
Okay, so one last question before you get into the meat and potatoes. So
Sure.
so are you going to create a smart contract, or what are you doing?
We are going to create a smart contract that will be able to be compiled and launched and deployed to our own small little Ethereum node.
Okay, gotcha. Okay. Are you going to be using JavaScript as well in a little, or just Solidity?
There will be JavaScript, because like I said, when we talk about blockchain development, we're really just talking about what are we using once we're done writing the smart contract, and TypeScript is where we're going to be using today.
Okay.
I have a question. I got a question. What compiler are you using right now?
I think under the hood, it's always SLC, Sulk.
Sulk? Yeah, because I've been using Atom, and just for lack of a better word, it sucks.
You mean my
I don't
IDE?
like it.
My IDE
No.
is different. No, the compiler that I'm using to compile the code is Sulk. This computer program right here is called an IDE that is VS Code.
How do you spell Sulk?
Sulk is SOLC.
Is it Mac compatible or no?
Okay, we're going to go through literally everything. I'm on a Mac running through a Windows computer. You can pretty much do it through. So we'll go through it all.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
No doubt. I mean, a lot of the stuff npm runs on both Mac and I don't like Atom. This is VS Code. I like VS Code just because it has many different uses. A lot of people who who I've worked with hate on it because it's Microsoft, with good reason. I mean, you got to hate on Microsoft a little bit, but it's a good product, and it has a lot of huge extensions that you can use to install different types of languages. So you're not stuck to a single language IDE, and it's pretty powerful. So we're live coding. I'm going to make a directory for called Solidity course PT1. Cool. Cool. I'll just make our new thing here. Tight. So there's nothing in this, and that's great. So if we look at our where is my window? There it is. So let's just bootstrap a project real quick. So it's like npm install save dev hard hat. Okay, so if you guys can, I'm gonna keep this one here. And we'll say npm install save dev hard hat. So when we're installing that, we're trying to, like what you said, if you haven't used Truffle before, this is actually a good place to just start. And We're going to bootstrap the project right now, and we're going to see what it does here. Tell me if I'm moving too fast, if you're following along. So we're going to say, and can you read the text? I can make it a little bit bigger.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay. Try something that's a little bit easier. It's not so long. Okay, that's good. So we'll just say MPX hard hat. That's just the bare minimum. So just like that, we'll see hard hat. What do you want to do? Create a sample project, create an empty project. We'll do a sample project. And we'll do it right here. Add a get ignore. Yes. And I think it's going to install hard hat waffle for me. Great. So create a sample project, create a few directories. We'll be using a different stack as an example. See what it looks like. So it's asking us to create a few directories. So we'll make contracts, test, and script. Oh, it looks like it's already done for us. Tight. It's good that we're going to have some contracts because this is actually a Solidity file here. So while that's installing, let's just read about it. So we're going to create a very basic Solidity contract called greeter. We're going to have a string. It doesn't look like the contract has any. So the contractor has one constructor.
Okay. Before you go on,
Yes, sir.
I'm a little lost. I'm trying to configure my terminal to download my stuff. So
Sure.
how did you do it? Did you create a new subfolder in your terminal to download Hard Hat, or how did you do that?
So there was just this one command that I did. And when I did create a new subdirectory,
Okay.
I call it Solidity Course Part 1. I just said make dir, let's see. Yeah, I just made it one. Then I copied, and then I changed the directory to where we are now.
And where did you copy that from? The
I
web
didn't
page?
copy. I changed my directory.
Okay, gotcha.
So, okay. And then when I ran a command called npm, whoa. Yeah, and then
So right now you're just going through how to install all these different extensions for your device to develop.
Yes. So you'll see, you can see right here that all I did was, all I did was Solidity course development, so you can see right here, this is where my path is right now. I just
Nice.
have it called code, live coding, blah, blah. And, so I went there.
Because I'm not really on my computer right now. I can't use my computer at the moment. I'm just watching on my phone.
Yeah. So save that link that I
Yep.
posted in chat.
Yeah, I did. I have it. It's on. I have it. Everything.
Wonders.
So let me see. npm install save dev. Okay.
So that whenever you see the -- flag save dev, it should what that does is that it creates a package JSON. This is what npm uses to install software basically and make sure that we keep track of everything. If you used Python before, it's like pip freeze or pip, so these are all the dev dependencies that we're going to be using. So it looks like we've installed hardhat ethers, hardhat waffle, chai, ethereum waffle, ethers, and hardhat at their respective versions. So you can tell it what version to do. If you I think this little caret means that it's going to update it every time that it can, or you can just have it you can set it to whatever version you want, actually.
Okay.
So just for npm knowledge, if you're not used to using npm, that's what, when you're running something like npm install, you can install it without saving to this. It will just like install it for a very short period of time. But
Okay.
if you install it and say save dev, when someone like comes in, like if I came in and I've never used it before, I would use something called npm install, and it would read that package JSON,
Mhm.
and then it would install it. So it's going to install everything again, but it's already there, so it's good. Chris asked to everyone, I know nothing. Where's the ground floor and how do I get started? This is the very ground floor. I would say that this is probably like the easiest tutorial I found to see, the interaction of TypeScript and Solidity development. Okay, so when you do install that and then you do go through this portion right here, and it said, npx hard hat. This is what I just did. I did npx hard hat. I said, create a sample project, which creates a few couple directories called contracts, test, and script. Okay, so let's look at this setting up TypeScript. So we're gonna move on. So it says npm install save dead ts node TypeScript at nodes blah blah. So now we're just going through what we're saying here, and you'll see package JSON change as I do that. So let's just go back. We can see. All right, we'll just do it. npm install save dev. So that's going to affect that package JSON. We'll call it TypeScript node. Actual TypeScript. We're not putting any version numbers, so it's fine. Node at types and Mocha. We'll look at Mocha in a second too. It's like the testing frequency. So let that rock and roll, and we'll see the package JSON change so we can actually understand what's happening. So you can see that package upgraded. So you can see we're doing version 9.1.1 for TS Node, hard hat, ethers, blah blah, pretty tight. Let's see what we got here. So create a TS config file in the project root, and we'll try to give it those options. TS config. Is there no TS config in this? I would say let's see. So I'll just like type it out. If I screwed up, then it's fine. So we'll create a TS file in the project root, new file called TS. It's called hard hat. Config.ts. Oh, I think there's already one here. There's one right here. We want to rename it so it's .ts because we're going over the TypeScript. Okay. So it says module exports. That's good. Task. Prints out the accounts. Interesting. Do this real quick. Make this easy on myself so I can just go faster.
Hey, are you using a Mac or a PC?
Both.
Okay.
I have my.
So how does that work? You use both? How do you like just switch between two different operating systems?
Via video capture card.
That's hilarious. It's like I can't get used to like one operating system. Like, don't get me wrong, like my mom has a PC. I use it. I hate it. The one operating system I've never used was Linux.
Yeah, I mean, how else are you gonna play Call of Duty? I can't play Call of Duty on Mac or Linux. It sucks. It's
Well,
like
guess what?
you have one
Mac-
job.
Well, guess what? Macs are excellent at developing.
Yeah, that's what you're seeing. This right now you're seeing is my Windows computer, which I have my OBS set up through. And then you'll see this one is my Mac that I stream into the card.
Yeah, you got me kind of confused there because in my terminal I have PowerShell set up, and you have
Yeah, this is Zish, which is like a version of Bash.
Okay. So it's cool. It's cool if I download all this with PowerShell, right?
You can install that. NPM will work on PowerShell.
Okay.
I believe you will be safe. Now it wants me to make a TS config file. I just did this. I'm just not sure what they want me to do here. Let's just go here and okay. I'll post this in chat as well. That actual GitHub repo, because I just want to get to the juicy part. I think that live coding this will definitely be good for y'all, but I think that what we get out of it will be different. Here's the GitHub repository, and let's just take this code and we'll take this here. Let's just back out here, git clone. Wow, I totally messed that up. Let's bring our VS Code to there real quick. So just like cooking show style, I'm not going to type all that, and I have it all here. So tsconfig.json, I was going to type all that out. But great. Okay, so we're going to set up the waffle plugin. So it looks like, make this a little bigger. Set up hard hat configs to use the waffle plugin. And let's see if it actually has that. Yes. So we'll see. Hard hat. Okay. So hard hat config here. Let's just go through the top of it and I'll just explain it instead of like typing it out. So default network, and then that's something I wanted to explain to you is that we are creating a hard hat closed EVM. And that's something that we want to like really focus in on is that, like what you said, the provider or this little blockchain is going to be spun up, and I'll show you how to we'll use it. We'll just say I haven't been here before, so I'll just do M. So if you do happen to use that starter kit, we can just do npm I install, and we'll talk through it. So you actually can use Hardhat by itself. And really interesting too is that it'll actually can do, like what I said, you can actually go out to a test net or to the main net and then actually fork a chain, and then you can use it locally to go faster. Etherscan, it has its own Etherscan keys. I believe that these are a well-known private key, public key. It's fine to use that. It's really tight. Okay. Type chain. Okay, so this is interesting. Now, type chain is interesting, and this is a plugin used inside of Hardhat, and it really goes above and beyond what you should, what you expect. Because let me just explain to you that the Ethereum machine. Has anyone here of a file called like an ABI or a binary interface? This is an open question. Has anyone heard of what an ABI is?
No.
Okay, cool. This is super important. So this guy asked, what is the ABI? And this guy answers, stands for Application Binary Interface. In general, ABI is the interface between two programs or modules, one being often at the level of machine code. The interface is de facto method for decoding data. All right, so we'll just, to see it in action, we'll go to Etherscan and we'll look at an address. And I don't know, this is one that I was on. I was looking at Burning Moon. I don't know. It seems cool. But if we wanted to look at its source code, the Solidity is available because that's just how it works. You know, I think there are methods of obfuscation, but normally there is not.
So Etherscan is a really good place to find the source code of a specific smart contract, an ERC20 token, or a DApp, right?
100%. So this was something I was looking at. Burning Moon. I don't know. It was someone sent it to me. So this contract is the address. It has 0 Ethereum inside of it. Blah blah. But yeah, you can do pretty much all of Ethereum like development right here, because you can see right now is like all these transactions 78 days ago. So it looks like Moonbee doesn't look very active anymore. But you can see someone sent some sort of transaction to it. Etherscan is, it'll look at the contract. It is an ERC20. We can see that it is version 4.24. Cool. This is its source code. It's a standard ERC20. Pretty nice. And we can actually like read the contract. So the contract really, at the end of the day, is just like an ERC20 is just like we understand that there's going to be a name, a total supply, decimals, balance of symbol, and allowance of what this is.
I have another question.
I have another answer.
Is an ERC20 token basically a fork of the Ether coin? Because basically it's a stable coin created on the Ethereum blockchain, right?
Let's just break down that language for a second. Say the first sentence.
An ERC20 token is a fork of the Ether cryptocurrency.
And stop. Okay, so a fork would mean that a fork would be incorrect connotation, or I would say that it is the function, and something I mentioned earlier is that Ethereum creates tokens. It is the meta token creator. So therefore we give it a constructor that has a name. So in this case, it's burningmoon.net. Its symbol is moonb. There's a balance of, I don't know, there's only an allowance of I don't know how many decimals. It has 18 decimals, just like Ethereum. Has a total supply of 1 times 3, 6, 9. I don't know, times 10 to the 18. So it looks like there's like 100 million. So really, what a token is another instantiation of Ethereum with different clothes. Because
So
Ethereum
I
by
mean, it makes
itself,
sense. It wouldn't be a fork
yes,
because creating tokens is already a use case of the Ethereum blockchain.
is the use case of the Ethereum blockchain.
All right, makes sense. Makes sense.
And a
Thanks.
fork of the Ethereum blockchain would be something someone mentioned earlier. It'd be Ethereum Classic, where there was divergent histories because of a hack, and people decided to stick with one history, and they forked. That would be
Makes sense.
the example of that.
Mm-hmm.
So when I was talking about me trying to run these functions, I need to know how to talk to it, to the contract, and that's what an ABI is. So okay, here you go. So this is kind of ugly, but let's see. Let's just zoom in. And it's basically telling us that we already saw on this over here that there are, this is looking at it really nice. There's a name, there's a total supply, there's decimals, balance of, and symbol. Symbol and allowance. This right here is all that is saying is that I have, let me see, total supply. So if I search it on here, total supply, it's basically telling it that it has outputs, and and theirs are going to be 256. It's going to be state mutability, and it's a function. This is just an ugly version of this. Very simple idea, but I need to know how to communicate with it, and then therefore I can describe this smart contract, and then talk to my Ethereum node to run these functions, because at the end of the day, I have a cluster that I have access to either through Infura or my local state to actually this huge blockchain running, and I can just ask for information at this address, run this function. What is it? In this case.
So basically, you're trying to interact with this smart contract that you had on your screen, right?
Yes. So I want to know what is the cryptocurrency. So at this address, and I said symbol, I'd get this, a string with 5 characters, moon B. Simple as that. And that's something that we're trying to think about. Try to bring it back to just normal development. We want to, figure out how to connect to it. We got to know its address, and then we have to know it's, we can actually write to the contract. I can approve, I can transfer, increase allowance, decrease allowance. These are what an ERC20 is. And actually, if I connect my Web3 wallet, I can just accomplish this with, and this is at the end of the day, a dApp, because I can use JavaScript, which is this browser, and connect my MetaMask or whatever, which is a wallet, and then I can launch and do these methods here. We can do that through the command line or through JavaScript. And that's what dApps are at the end of the day. I can look at the events. Ooh, a transfer event happened.
To be clear, can you just briefly explain what a dApp is for people who might not know?
Well, I think I kind of explained it earlier, is that a decentralized application is any type of Python, Node, C++, Rust, whatever, Java, Go program running right next to an Ethereum node. So it is a decentralized distributed app. Just like the Ethereum blockchain, it is a part of a larger network that has trusted traffic coming in that grows as a ledger that we can watch. And just like how we're looking at the screen here, we can watch events coming by. So on this, 78 days ago and 38 hours, a transfer function happened, and I can subscribe to one of these topics and I can just like see what's happening on the blockchain. And this is really like, you know, the to grasp it, the meat and potatoes of like the log of something. But this is always running. Nothing can stop it, you know. I mean, probably like some sort of catastrophic event, perhaps on a global scale, will be able to stop it. But
Like an
like
EMP.
an EMP that would knock out a very large amount of the computers, if not all of them. And then, even then, we would still have a pretty clear idea of when that happened, and then sticking with that history. So, I mean, it's kind of like dubious that it could ever.
Makes sense.
Okay, so that's my little. This is part one. My teaching style is not really academic. I'm just kind of keep it very parallel and to throw a lot of information at y'all. But at the end of the day, we want to know this counter. We have this new Solidity program that came with it, and we want to describe how to use it. So it looks like we have a function called get count, count up, count down, and that's pretty much all the functions for this smart contract. So just like on here, I can literally when I'm done here, I'm going to show that I have a contract. It's going to show my Solidity, and then I'm going to be able to find a contract interface to work with it. That's going to be stored in what we know as type chain. It's just to go all the way back. There we go. So type chain is a really cool tool that gives you full typed interface for your smart contracts. It's been built. You can begin installing the program by doing save dev. Ooh, I'm going too fast here. My mouse is really too sensitive for me right now. Okay, here we go. It's hard hat type chain TypeScript generator, Ethers version 5, blah blah. And we can run it by saying hard hat compile. So we'll just run that. Let's run that command real quick. npx hard hat compile. Cool. That's very quick. It created an artifacts folder, and that's like the word that we use to build these informations up. So, the contract is written in Solidity, but it created a large JSON file for us to understand what it is, and that that ABI is here. So it does a lot for you. That if you were back in the initial periods of Ethereum development, you had to kind of code this out yourself. But just because we did one command, it took this file. We'll bring up counter.sol here. Took this file and converted, so we'll see get count, and we'll just stare and compare it, and we'll get count. So we do know that get count returns a unsigned integer of 256 bytes, bits, and then we'll see. Yeah, it just returns a number. So you can see here, internal, it has a name. So now when I'm using this, I actually can see quite easily what it needs. The bytecode, once it's compiled, is there, and deployed bytecode. So let's see. So you can see inside the type chain, writing and running contract tests. Okay, so who here has background in unit testing? Python, JavaScript, doesn't matter.
I've done a little bit of like JavaScript.
JavaScript. Okay, cool. So
Yeah,
you'll.
so have I.
Okay, cool. So in multiple languages, there are, you can use something called Mocha and Chai, and this is what we're doing right here. And it doesn't when you're becoming like a back end programmer, you have to rely on your unit tests to actually make sure that you're sane, whether it be Python or JavaScript. If you have a Fahrenheit function and you put in 0 degrees, what is comes out in Celsius, centigrade. I mean, if you put 0 centigrade in, what happens in what's the integer value in Fahrenheit?
It makes sense. So basically, you just need to test to make sure that your code is communicating with the server correctly.
Wrong. Communicating with itself.
Okay.
You have to be able to know that if I have this program right here, that this Solidity contract, how do I know that it works without spending money by putting it up on the Ethereum blockchain? That's what all of these test suites are saying, is that I want to now add, and I want to make tests.
Isn't that what Ganache is for?
Ganache is just like what I'm saying, is a provider of a fake Ethereum.
Right.
You can test with a fake Ethereum, but there's a smaller fake Ethereum that runs in here. So if I said NBX hard hat node, this is my Ganache replacement right now. I can actually just spin up in my, it comes with hard hat. It creates 20 accounts with private keys and 10,000 ETH in each.
So basically, you're using Hard Hat to test your code, and it easily pulls up 20 accounts for you to test with.
I'm using hard hat because it has a feature that create a node like Ganache,
Uh-huh.
and the ability for me to deploy those contracts. So now I
Interesting.
have an Ethereum node running here. I can actually run these contracts and deploy them. I'm kind of skipping ahead, but to answer your question, we want to be able to test these things before I deploy them. So let's just kill this thing because I don't want to deploy it yet. I want to make sure I'm sane before I do that, right? And that
Again, so when you say sane, you mean that the code is properly communicating with itself. That makes sense.
Yes. So get account or emit counted too. And that's kind of like what happens is if you're looking at just like over here in Etherscan, I can actually see the events that are happening on this account. So there's an event called transfer approval. Makes sense. And we can further look at when we say it emits. Let's see. Yeah, see how we see transfer? This is an actual event that we're looking at. The same goes for our code here. Counted to will be emitted when count up happens. I can actually test for that without deploying it to the Ethereum blockchain. I can describe my tests such that I can get all of the signers, just like I showed you. These signers will get account 1, which is OXFF39FD60, blah, blah. Okay. Poking me in chat. How long do you think I'm going for? We can do a part 2 next week. I mean, I'm just going to keep on going until people tell me to stop.
I mean, if you could do a part 2 next week, that would be epic.
Yeah. I mean, do you want me to stop now?
Scheduled for the 17th. It's up to you guys.
Yeah, totally.
No, dude, just keep on going. I'm gonna be
I just want to get to the end of this tutorial because I think we're almost there.
Yeah.
Okay.
And one more thing. So since this is being recorded, where is it being posted?
It's going to be on the YouTube channel and it's going to be in our Discord. And then.
Thank you. So what's your YouTube channel?
I believe it's AISFIU, right, Kevin? Is it AISFIU? Yeah, AISFIU.
Can you post the link?
Yeah, I'm gonna post
Thank
the
you
link.
so much. Appreciate it.
Yo, so an explanation of what's going on here with this test. We'll just try to get the cadence going. We're gonna get all the. We're gonna use for an asynchronous function called get contract factory. We'll get into what a factory is. I think that it should be you should figure out what that kind of pattern is. It's not just for Solidity, the factory pattern. But the idea here is that here we're going to be getting the counter.sol that we have here, and it's going to literally deploy it. And then we're going to create the initial count here. And we expect the initial count to be equal to 0. And we expect the counter address is equal to the address that we just created. This is our first test. If this is not true, then I'm not sane or it's broken. Next one, count up. There's like another count up function here. I want to make sure that this, when I call this on the Ethereum blockchain, it just adds 1 to 0, and it should be equal to 1. So this is it translated. It should count up. Create an asynchronous function, a nested asynchronous function where we're using another, in this case, a promise, where counter is instantiated up top here, and get count is, that method is used, and then it should have count should be equal to 1 now. Count down, interesting, same difference. Should count down and it should be 0. This, and it'll try to do it a third time, and you don't want it to have like some sort of, you'll learn about what safe math is later, but there have been, whole hacks that come from like a buffer underflow. If it is 256 bits and you count down from 0, you will get 256 because it cannot have negative numbers. It's an unsigned integer, and it would basically modulus back to the top number. So all of a sudden, if I had less than $0, I would have $256, right? Or whatever this count is. Let's run the test, blah, blah. And it's NPX hard hat test. And it's satisfying to watch because usually you can make tests to, makes it, ooh. So this is one failing test. And that's true because it's failing on purpose. You can see right here that not only did our fake Ethereum virtual machine have an exception, it gave us a stack trace, which has
I'm sorry, why would it fail on purpose?
Okay, so in our ideology of testing, failing on purpose is good. Right here inside the documentation, it should fail, and it will launch this, and then it'll break, right? We create tests that you want to fail. And now let's see. But yeah, if I take this whole test away, and I save it and I do the test again, I think it's doing it for like illustration. You want to be able to see this is a feature. You could never see this before. This seems like it's annoying to you, but when things broke in Ethereum before, we did not know what happened. Couldn't really put our finger on it like a normal thing. And that's something that we're trying to zoom in on it very quickly. So let's just, that's saved, and we'll run the tests again. And hopefully we don't have a broken test. Count up, tight, equals 0. And you see it's one passing, it took 57 milliseconds. So now, yeah. Once we test it, then we feel safe on deploying it. And you can see here that deploying it would be the way that you would actually start deploying it. So now we have a factory, and we're going to bring in that contract. We'll literally deploy it to our fake Ethereum testnet. We'll log where it was deployed to, the transaction hash of the Ethereum network. Okay, so let's try it. What I'm going to do is start up my fake node. Split my screen real quick, and we'll say npx hard hat node. So that's going to start the node. You can see from the tutorial they speak about that, but here you go. We got a whole bunch of accounts ready. So now we can, these are all the signers that can happen. And then what we'll do is, I think they talk about it here. Deploying the contracts. Cool. We'll say npx hard hat run network, and we're not going to use Rinkeby. We're going to use what we have configured here. Where to go? Hard hat config. We'll just use hard hat because this is what's running right now. So we'll like that, and we'll replace Rinkeby because you could use Rinkeby right here, and then it would ask for our Infura key. I'm not trying to do that right now. We'll see if we can do localhost. So it compiled it. Let me try, no, localhost, it's hard hat, the actual hard hat network that's running next to us. Cool. So you can see here, let me make this bigger. Close that side thing. So this is actually what it would look like on your Ethereum node if you actually deployed it. This is not an ERC20 because it doesn't have the same functionality. It only has, very limited functionality. Counter.sol is just has a function called counter. So it's definitely not an ERC20 because but it is a contract. It was deployed here. The contract add hash is here. Close that. Make it a little bigger. It was quite a bit of gas used in Gwei, but that was probably only a couple of dollars, 2 or 3. And it's the first block because this is our personal Ethereum node. So it's block number 1. And all these are basically the functions that were ran by our compiler. It was asking where all the accounts are, what's the chain ID, can we estimate the gas price? Here is the gas price. Send the transaction. Here's our metadata from that. And it did it twice. And we'll keep on refreshing that. Wrapping up. Let's see if we can actually post it to Rinkeby. That'd be kind of tight. Maybe that key works. No. Clean it out. Let's see if we'll do it. That'd be kind of tight if it worked. I don't know whose key that we're using, but holler. Nope. All right, we won't use it, but you guys get the idea. It's easier to deploy to your local anyway. Verified final thoughts. Yeah, it's good. I think that we're at a good place right now. I showed you how to set up your local environment. We talked a lot about TypeScript. We talked about Solidity. We talked about type chain and how it can help you with your IDE. Showed you how to do some command lines. Let's see. Yeah, so see how in my IDE, let me make this bigger. Now, because it used type chain, I can actually see this contract and, actually like zoom in on it. And it adds all this really good information for my IDE. So it knows where my provider is, the signer. And it creates all these interfaces that I did not do before, which are now TypeScript, which is really, really nice. So now that I don't have just like plain data, I can actually use, it goes beyond just like what Remix would give you, and allow you to, without spending any money or running around trying to get testnet tokens, the ability to compile your contracts.
That's epic. So just a quick question. When is the this gonna be up on YouTube? Just because I want to go back and refer to it as I try to install these tools on my Mac, and I want to just
We'll put it in chat because you asking
Epic.
about it will be on YouTube too.
yes. So
Alright.
chat meaning on Discord.
Chat is literally here on. There's a chat room here and
Yeah,
on
yeah.
Discord. To be honest, yeah. So just message somebody, and we'll make sure that you get a copy, or you can join our chat room. You can speak to me pretty much any day of the week. We push each other's understanding of these tools, get you set up on Java, Python, whatever you want to use.
I would totally enjoy joining your chat room. Can you send a link to that too?
Dan, are you in chat?
I thought are you Ahmed? Or I'm sorry, Caleb.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah. Did we talk in Discord already?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah. It's cool. You're already in the Discord.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah, that's it.
That's okay. Chat room, Discord, right. Excellent. Because I thought you meant like a complete separate chat room that's like exclusive
It is.
and stuff. But yeah, thanks. I really appreciate it a lot. I really do.
Yeah, no problem. And I think that there's a lot of people who are open-minded in the chat room, and they can help you, pursue, not just Solidity development, but just in development in general. People are pretty friendly.
Thanks. It means a lot to me, really.
No problem. Yeah. Anybody have any other questions? We went over 25 minutes over time, but I think that's just necessary. So, what's up? Questions? Or are you tired of hearing me talk? What's up?
No, man. I appreciate this. Quick question: is there any like courses that you guys do, like where you teach Solidity from the basics to advanced stuff?
Like I said earlier, I want to create like a curriculum, but like I said, I think that we have like an ongoing Solidity dojo in our Discord.
Okay, so I
And
can just ask any question and you guys will be okay, going through whatever.
Yeah, and I think that I've already been incentivized to spread open source software.
Okay.
So there's no other job that I have.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
It's taken a long time to get to that, but I believe that your interaction with open source software will just make your portfolio shine. People ask you, what's your GitHub? They don't care about anything else. Like, okay, he knows this, blah, blah. I was really fortunate at like a round of hiring one time that I posted a GitHub repository or a bunch of GitHub repositories that were exactly what their stack was. So I was hired immediately. So, GitHub, those pinned repositories really can help you.
And you didn't have to put up a resume or anything?
I did give them a resume, but they didn't even look at it.
Wow. Okay. So it's basically what you can code, what you can do. It's not even
Yeah.
about what you did. Okay.
Yeah, basically they just want a portfolio, and obviously they look at your GitHub repositories.
That is your portfolio. People use their GitHub as a source of hosting, so you can host your portfolio stuff.
That's pretty cool. That's really cool.
For free.
Right. Okay.
Which is really cool. And so if you're a front end designer, perfect. Even if you're back end, even better, because they can go in and then see your readmes and clone your repositories. Yeah, I don't think. Yeah, so I just think that will people don't care about a resume if they just want to know if you can do it. They came in there, grilled me on questions, and then I got the job. That's it. They don't care like who you are.
I got a question. What kinds of smart contracts do you work with? Because I'm very interested in DeFi.
Okay, so let's just. I guess like that's a good question, because when we talk about DeFi, we're talking about experiments in token economics rather than what type of smart contracts, because they're all smart contracts.
Makes sense.
Your address is a smart contract. You sending a transaction is a smart contract.
Mm-hmm.
The the wordings used is kind of sometimes poor. They say that they kind of wish they never said contract, but still,
Yeah, it's so basically, to put it in broad terms, a smart contract is any computational program run on the blockchain.
from the Ethereum
The
virtual machine
Ethereum blockchain. Yeah.
the Ethereum virtual machine is a Turing complete compiler that runs inside of the transaction space. Because in Bitcoin, like you could just send it back and forth, but that was it. You could write a memo, but it was very limited in how many characters. What Ethereum is literally opcode that is compiled by Solidity or otherwise, or the lower level Lisp-like language that compiles down to opcode.
I see.
So
Makes sense.
that's like the biggest difference between Bitcoin and Ethereum is that
yeah,
it's programmable transactions. And that just to
Makes
get
sense.
back to DeFi, I also did a video on the genealogy of DeFi on my YouTube with the Blockchain Center, and you can see that it started out with a token called Ampleforth that used a price oracle to the USDT dollar, and if its own price was above that amount over or under, it would basically rebase a certain percentage of all the currency that exists in supply. So if it was above a certain amount, it would rebase. Everybody gets free ample, and everyone's really happy. But people don't like it when it debases. So it's called an elastic supply.
Right.
We also see in other DeFi projects that we're focused on things like Uniswap that are
Yeah.
that are liquidity pool tokens. So if I said I have a bunch of Link or a bunch of
It's very useful for yield farming. Yeah.
yeah, because then all of a sudden that yield farm is basically there's a project called Barnbridge where you can't buy Barnbridge, you can only manufacture it. So you would have to stake USDT.
Interesting.
Yeah, and then because you can take your USDT back at any time, it mints you Barnbridge, which is worth something.
Wow, that's really interesting. Yeah.
So that's
Badger
actually
just did like Badger. I'm sorry to interrupt.
no, don't continue.
No worries.
Yeah,
No worries. No worries.
But Badger did something like that recently,
Yes.
where they rebased their entire supply and you were rewarded in a currency called Dig. I don't know if anybody else here is involved in DeFi like that, but that's what they did recently. So
Yes, sir. So I think that it's interesting. I can keep on going into that, but I think it's beyond. I'm already beyond the scope, and I'm already in.
Yeah. It's like it's really like
I
I'm
can
still
go
trying
on
to wrap my head
forever.
around this.
We're almost at an hour and a half. I could go on for at least 7.
dude, like I'm Gucci on this side. You can, do your thing.
Well,
I
man,
hope.
I'm here in Florida. I'm about to go swim in a pool.
I'm jealous.
Philadelphia. I know.
It's
I'm from
freezing
Philly.
cold. It's freezing cold up where I live. I live in New Jersey, man.
Yeah, I know. I was just there, and it's not where I'm at now.
Yeah, I'm jealous, man.
Enjoy it for now, though.
Yeah, Jimmy, I saw you here.
I gotta move to Texas. It's gonna be its own country really soon.
Hopefully.
It will. Yeah. I gotta get there quick because if
Why,
I wait
Elon's
any
gonna
longer,
buy it all?
what?
Elon Musk will just buy Texas.
Elon Musk was just gonna be the president of Texas.
Yeah.
Well, Austin is going to be the new Silicon Valley.
It really is. That's one of the reasons why I'm going to move there. I'm going to move there. I'm going to transfer my credits from Rutgers to the University of Austin, Texas, and complete my degree there.
Yeah, because I'm in Houston, and I mean, in terms of technology, we're getting beat compared to Austin. I mean,
I know
everything is in Austin. So I was thinking
they have a lot of food trucks in Austin though when I went there.
Oh man, they got everything down there. Like everything. It's like San Francisco. Like
blown away.
seriously.
I was like,
no way.
Yeah, that street is amazing though. It's just so vibrant.
Yeah, so I was thinking I'm taking a web developer course right now. So it's like after I'm done, maybe I'll move down there and do something over in Austin because I'm really feeling Austin right now.
The cool thing is nowadays you can just work remotely. Like
Yeah, that's
you
what I
can
was gonna
move
say.
the-
I'm like, move. I'm like, I'm gonna move where it's nice.
Yeah,
No,
man.
no.
Don't let
Well,
laws-
me
Texas
personally,
is
I
just
like.
kind of
there anyway.
flat. It smells like manure.
Hey,
We're
hey, nah.
It does.
It's
I'm
not
not
all
gonna
bad. No.